Hi everybody, this is Katje. Tonight I wanted to make a brief video about some scenes from my own girlhood. These are times when I was growing up, when I became aware of the fact that part of me was and is a girl. So these are some experiences, 3 very short experiences, reminiscences that I would like to share with you. And in each case, the way that I became aware of my own girlhood was through experiences that focused on my legs. So I want just to tell you about those experiences. So one experience was when I was in school. We had just started school, and I don't remember what grade it was, but it was still rather warm. And so it was late summer, and a lot of us, the boys wore shorts to school, and of course the girls had dresses on. But I remembered that we were sitting at our desks and working on some assignment that the teacher had given us, and everybody was supposed to be very quiet. It was still very hot outside, but inside the desks were made out of metal. The base of the desk near where your legs were was made out of metal. And so I remember at one point that I sort of folded my legs around the cold metal base of this desk while I was working, and I became aware of my legs in a way that I hadn't before. And so I wanted to put them together like this to make them warm again, and my ankles were touching, and my thighs and my knees were touching. And that's when I realized that I was sitting like a girl would sit, like this, very quietly, and just taking that experience in. That was one of the times when I first began to realize that there was a part of me that was feminine, that wanted to present as a girl. So that was one experience. Another experience I remember along these lines took place in the wintertime, and so it was very, very cold outside. And I remember that I got up early one morning. It probably was in January or February, in the very heart of midwinter. So it was extremely cold outside, and I could feel that in my room because the heat had not yet come on. And so I got out of bed, and my legs were bare, and I felt this cold air against my legs, and I became very aware of the skin, the very sensitive skin on my legs. And so I began to think immediately of wool, because I had a wool sweater, and I realized that I had worn a wool sweater or maybe woolen socks or something like that. So I was aware of the texture of wool, which I enjoyed. It was kind of scratchy and interesting. But then I started to think about, wool against my legs, not just where my socks would be, but also up where my knees and my thighs would be. And then it became clear to me that I wanted to wear a skirt, maybe a plaid wool skirt or something like that, which was something that had never really occurred to me before, living as a boy at the time. But that was another occasion when I realized that part of me really wanted to give expression to my feminine side, because part of me was a girl. So that was the second experience. And then the third experience I remember was a very, very different time. And it was in the summertime, and I was wearing shorts again. And this time I was out in the mountains at a place that my family had out there. And so I was walking through a field, and I had these shorts on. They were pretty short shorts even for a boy. And the field was somewhat damp because it had rained recently, and so the grass or the straw in this field that hadn't been mown recently was very damp and wet, and so it was actually, it came up to about my knees, some of it. I probably shouldn't have gone through there because there could have been snakes or something, but fortunately I didn't get bitten or anything like that. But I was going through this field, and the grasses, the dampness on the grasses was rubbing against my legs, and it was almost kind of a ticklish sensation. It was a ticklish sensation, and I really felt that with my legs and the skin on my legs, and I got goosebumps from that. And then, at almost the same time, I could smell the jasmine in the fields, and I think there were honeysuckle, wildflowers, but there was this very sweet smell that was almost like a perfume. And so, between the kind of sticky, ticklish feeling of the grass on my legs and the wonderful aroma of those wildflowers, the honeysuckle and the jasmine in the summertime, it was almost like everything came together, and that jasmine, that honeysuckle wildflower smell was clinging to me, and I felt for one moment, it was almost a perfect moment, I felt like I was a girl, even though I didn't have, obviously, makeup on, and I didn't have long hair, I wasn't wearing girls' clothes, but my body, and in particular my legs, felt very feminine at that point, and the perfume in the air, that floral perfume that was clinging to my skin and all the different parts of my body and even in my hair, well, it was very short at that time, then I felt like I was a girl who was walking in very short shorts through this field, wearing this floral perfume, and it was a really beautiful and powerful moment, which again made clear to me that I was on some level female, not exclusively that, because I still want to express my masculine side as well at times, but this was another side of me that I was becoming aware of and that I wanted to do justice to. And so as I grew older and began to learn more, that was something that I came back to and wanted really to express and to bring out in a way that did justice to it. So I'm still working on that. Maybe many of you have had experiences like that or know someone who has, but if you haven't, I hope that you will, and if you have had those kinds of experiences, treasure them because they mean a lot, and you want to take them and make the best of them that you can and use them as a catalyst or an opportunity to learn more about that side of yourself if you have it. In any event, this is Katje, and thank you again for joining me. I'm feeling very girlish tonight because I'm thinking about these experiences that meant so much to me and that continue to trickle through my life in certain ways. So I hope everybody has a good night, and thank you so much for sharing some time with me and being patient with me. So until next time, this is Katje Eckhart, the Good Witch, and I hope everybody has a restful and a good night. Bye-bye.